Welcome back, 412-575-2600 on the Borders and Borders hotline. Seems like the hot topic of the night is the Pirates. I'm Josh Taylor, in for Bob. He is taking some time off, and good for him. Let's answer some phone calls. We will go to Steven in Baldwin. Steven, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Hey, Josh. Good evening. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I agree with you about the trade value couldn't be lower for some of these guys. Maybe we should trade you to Hill's Department Store for some more suits for Paul.
Oh, man. Hey, I think my trade value is pretty high. Besides, that other department probably couldn't afford me. Anyway, Jeff in Pittsburgh. Jeff, you're on the Nightly Sports Call. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, Josh.
How you doing?
This is Jeff from Portage, but
shout out to Portage. It's cool. Do you think?
Yeah. Just two quick things. Since they started the luxury tax, how many millions of dollars has the Pirates gotten from that luxury tax? And why, if say there's a guy that demands like $13 million a year, why can't they pay that $13 million a year out of that luxury tax? And then, I
think you're talking about the revenue sharing, but I see where you're going with this.
Revenue share, yeah.
Yeah.
But then the other quick thing is, when is Clint Hurdle going to start getting on Marte about his laziness running the bases and stuff? Because Joe Madden in Chicago, he wouldn't deal with that stuff. Hurdle's the player's coach. He doesn't like to seem to get angry at the guys.
I see where you're going with this, and thank you for the call. Let me answer your question. They sat Marte down last year. This was an issue last year. I addressed it last year. If it's not going to fix anything, I wouldn't expect anything different right now. That answers your question there. Answer your question about why they wouldn't spend money out of revenue sharing to get more guys. If I knew the answer to that question, I'd be working there and not here. I really don't have an answer. I really don't. I get asked that question, if not daily, close to every day. Why don't they spend on this guy? Why don't they spend on that guy? I could walk out of this room, go find a guy in that office, and ask him that question right now, and I wouldn't get a straight answer because they're not going to tell me. But my best guess is because when you look around baseball, a lot of teams aren't paying that right now. A lot of them aren't. Did you hear about the free agent market this past year? Did you hear about how long guys like Bryce Harper and Manny Machado were free agents past spring training? No one, I shouldn't say no one because that's not fair. A vast majority of teams aren't spending money on free agents right now. They're just not. Because there are teams that are trying to find ways to knock down their expenses to try to reload and go off of this new free agent class that might be coming up, or trying to sign their own guys to extensions, which happened in waves that last couple weeks before the season started. Did you notice how many extensions were signed right before the season? Because those teams did not spend money in free agency. They used that money towards extensions, and I think part of that was by design. So let's throw that out there. As for everything else, I honestly don't know. I really couldn't tell you. The truth of the matter is, what baseball's economic structure looks like right now. We also know that at one point there were dozens of top-line free agents, guys that should be playing every day, that didn't get signed for months in the offseason. And it wasn't just the Pirates participating in it. So if we're putting this just on the Pirates, it's kind of not fair, and it's painting them with the brush. Because the rest of the league was guilty too. You had two prime pitchers in Dallas Keuchel and Craig Kimbrell that teams would not offer because they didn't want to pick compensation. Really? It wasn't the money that they didn't want to give up. They didn't want to lose the draft pick compensation. So now first round picks have become a different. Teams don't want to give it up to sign guys that can help them. Until right after June 1st, and what happened? Craig Kimbrell got signed. Dallas Keuchel got signed. That answers the question right there. It's not just the Penguins issue. Penguins. It's not just the Pirates issue anymore. This is an economics of baseball issue. When that collective bargaining agreement is up, you better believe the Players Association is going to have some questions, and they won't like the answers they hear. Got to take a break. We'll wrap up when we come back. Stick around.